We're looking at supply chain tech. Let's take a look at from the past to the present to where we're going. There's a lot of collaborative planning. We call it collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment. And there's a whole series of different letters that you'll hear in the supply chain as you go through and understand some of the different processes that they have. But today, we're looking really at the aspect of the retailers, manufacturers, and all the solution providers along the entire supply chain. The mission is to create collaborative relationships. Really, that is up and down the entire chain to the point where they're actually looking together to develop different aspects of every single component. You'll see some strange ones out there, even like Aldi Foods. I was just recently looking at Aldi Foods, and what they have is they have the manufacturers getting all the packaging in exactly the same width so they can actually have the people when it comes in off the truck, instead of having everybody unpacking things and putting it on the shelves, they take the entire box, remove the front cover, and put it on the shelf and save all that time because Aldi is controlling every component of that supply chain through this thing called collaboration, because of the fact that if you're going to supply food for Aldi Foods, they want to have low cost, have that, they want to capture that low end market. And the reality of it comes down to is the employees do not unpackage everything for the boxes. They put the box on the shelf. The customer takes it, put it in their carts, and when it's all done, there's an empty box. They toss the box, put another box in its place. It's brilliantly all the way down to the box, how size it is exactly. Will it fit in the shelf next to the one there from a different manufacturer to the one from a different manufacturer? That is called real collaboration in the process. Sometimes, on the whole aspect, you have to develop guidelines for the relationship. Your box will be exactly this big. And that means they have to make certain that all the products inside the box will fit properly inside the box. They might have to resize the plastic bottles that go into the box, or maybe the orientation as to how they're put in the box. But no matter what, all the employee does, they remove the outer cover, put it on the shelf, customer buys it, they get rid of the box, put the next box in. And the next box is exactly the correct size. If you can't play the game, then you're out of the game and to get somebody else in that will. It's called developing a joint business plan. And you want to sit down and create a sales forecast of what will happen when this goes on, reduce your overall cost, and identify exceptions that might have on that sales forecast, because you still have to put up with some of the aspects of the weirdness of retail, and that for 3 months out of the year, October, November, December, you generate 40% of your sales for regular items like presents, except with food, you have a variation of that because your food purchases doesn't even match that of the gift giving seasons. So you have that aspect of it. So every industry is going to have a different type of forecast, and it's up to you to make certain that you're paying attention to what your calendar is like and that you're going to collaborate on exception items to the normal rule. If you have a different thing, okay, we're going to have this display over here. It's coming in 3 months. Make sure you have their sizing. Here it is. Wait a minute. We can't do that. Okay, well, let's talk about it. But the time is ticking because we're developing our forecast. So you have to sit down and have that order forecast, identify the exceptions for the order forecast, resolve and collaborate them on the exception items, and then generate the orders. Good, solid programming helps an awful lot all up and down the entire supply chain. We are all headed towards this type of mechanism, especially with the concept of artificial intelligence helping us to coordinate those micro details much better than humans can do. We can do on big picture, but on the small picture, AI is going to help us quite a bit, especially once we have a cloud infrastructure that's gone mainstream and we're talking all up and down in the same language between each other on the supply chain. You really have open source software. That's been a crucial factor in developing your cloud. But the issue comes down to is that open source means it's open source, and you also have crypto thievery in the process too. So be careful on that. So unless you have a good crypto security system, you might have trouble with this aspect of it. So that's got to be a major factor in every single consideration from this point forward, because of the huge amount of hacking that we're having that's going to be continuing in the days to come. So when you start looking at the service-oriented architecture, you want to have a standards-based approach that everybody is sharing that same standard. even if you have 6 or 7 different modules inside the different supply chain, you have your raw goods person, your key manufacturing person, manufacturing to packaging, packaging to whatever, housing, warehousing, and so on down the line. You might have a whole series. They have to have a common language of a service-oriented architecture that's responding to the needs, especially that very last one, as it's pulled through the supply chain to the one that actually is reaching out to the consumer themselves, who's actually paying the money for all the product and all the services up and down. Look on the aspect of the contribution, look on the integration, look on the application development, and modernizing any legacy applications. And keep in mind, legacy is primarily referring to mainframe, but old type of data storage in a process that you update on a regular basis. Microservices, we're going to have a whole series of new stuff happening with full rich applications through different services in the process. Look on different teams as you move at different speeds. And also, you're standardizing communication between the software elements, making certain you're able to use the resources up and down. That common language is a big deal. That's where that Rosetta Net really will come in handy. So we're looking at the microservices. A lot of the little ones, okay, they have a low learning curve. They can scale bottlenecks. They're quicker to accept testing, and they have a better business alliance when you have little chunks in the process and little microservices to compare on the overall thing, long as they're all having the same language to deal with it. Bundle packages are stepping up, tech is stepping up, and really your quality customer services today, in my opinion, is diminishing in many sectors. So whoever has the tech, whoever has the human still to pay attention to the details is going to end up being the winner long term because those details and that human relationship, even though you may have a great computer relationship, great AI relationship up and down the supply chain, that human relationship is going to be the glue that holds it together. Take care.